Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, let's get into the action on this Wednesday, July 17th, 2013. Ben Bernanke has spoken today, and really, in all fairness, the market did not react much. We got the initial comments out pre-market, which allowed the futures to spike up initially slightly. Once the markets open, we've actually stayed in a pretty tight range today on an intraday basis. Look at this, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and now we're coming back down again. But unless we really take out some of these major levels right below here, this market has no chance of really selling off today. Now, again, volume is ridiculously light as well, and I think that's worthy of noting because, granted, we've had really light volume the last few days, but that was all on anticipation of Bernanke's comments. Today, we got his comments. The market barely reacted, a little bit of an up move pre-market. That was about it. And now we're just hovering in a sideways channel on extremely light volume, 61 million. And this is on Options X week. It's so unusual. Probably the most unusual thing I've seen in quite a while. Now, granted, again, the markets are coming down here, so we want to pay attention. But I will say this. There is so much support under here, you would need a pretty solid volume surge to get through these levels. And you might say, well, what support is there? Well, you have the 50 MA right here. You have the white trend line right here, which is another support line. You have gap fill right here, and you have the 200 MA right below. So just in a short amount of span here, from about the 167.85 down to about the 167.50 level, that's a 35-cent range, you have four major levels of support. In this volume environment currently, based on what we're seeing now, there's no way this market sells off below that. If something happens and we get a flush of volume, then there's a chance. But unless there's a catalyst there, you're not going to get that increase in volume, and it's going to be very hard for this market to see some major selling. So again, path of least resistance remains up unless we get that volume surge. Okay? So very simply put, one thing I thought on an intraday basis, aside from the channel that's kind of interesting here, as you can see, one thing I thought that was interesting is look at this little necktie formation. In yesterday's free video, which all of you guys watched, I talked about how we broke down below this upsloping trend line right here. You consolidated in a bearish manner on top of it, and you broke down, and that led us to the downside. All right, so again, that line comes from connecting the lows from, I believe this was last Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So last Thursday's lows to last Friday's lows, and then we consolidated on Monday right here above it before breaking down. Notice the retrace today where we perfectly spiked up right here into a double top and retraced back into that exact level, and that was the high of the day. So since then, the markets have come, choppy to sideways, and now we're pushing down again. Although, again, we have to get through these key levels down here. But again, just in terms of resistance and understanding levels, that's an awesome level right there. All right, again, upsloping retrace, it's called a retrace to the scene of the crime, and that coincided with exactly the high pivot from Monday. Sure enough, you pierced it and you sold off. So things to remember as we trade. I mean, we're all trying to be investors and traders here that are exponentially good, profiting almost on every trade. Again, that's what we've achieved here, about an 80%, 85, 80% success rate on every trade. That's 8 out of every 10 approximately as winners. Probably that's on par, if not better, than the best hedge funds out there and the best institutions. Spiders continuing to dip a little bit more here, but again, notice the 50 MA coming into play. So what we're going to look for here is there a little surge in volume that has a chance of getting it through the 50? And if so, do we go to gap fill in 200 right here? Okay, there's the 50 MA hit right now, so that's getting hit as we speak. Nice little sell-off again, but look at the volume. Still no major surge in volume. Therefore, to me, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Unless we see a major surge in volume, I just can't imagine it getting through all these levels and really breaking to the negative side today on the SPY. Couple other things to note here today. Yahoo reported earnings after the bell yesterday. The stock sold off initially on those earnings, but today it is roaring higher. Take a look here, folks. This is up $2.50, basically 10%. The only interesting thing about this stock today is this. If you zoom out to 2008 highs, this is right around $30. So that is a major target on this stock, the Pierce of 30, right around 30 and a quarter. All right, so just keep an eye on that because, again, that should be short-term major resistance, the high from 2008. If you take that out, then the next stop is going to be 34, which will be the high from 2007. But this is your first major pivot resistance. Look, notice the extended move here to the upside. I do expect a pullback if it gets through 30 today or tomorrow. All right. A couple other stocks as we flip back to some charts here. JPM is selling off little by little here. Was up very nicely, but look at this collapse on JPM. This is definitely warranting a continued watch. Right, it's definitely worth keeping a close eye on here, folks, because this is not only, I mean, considering the markets are still holding up relatively well, this is a pretty big reversal today. JPM was up 55.60 cents earlier today and is now trading just up 19 cents, and it's piercing the 50. Now, standard theory would say you should have some support here. If it doesn't, there could be trouble for this market as JPM is a leading indicator, and then we might see that volume surge come in. Okay, so that's what we'll continue to follow here on JPM. Very important, up 18 cents now as JPM continues to inch down. Goldman Sachs, really not much going on there. It's interesting how Goldman's in a world of its own with JPM in another world of its own, as Goldman's just really going sideways here, not selling off, and JPM has reversed sizably. Taking a look at Bank of America reported earnings this morning before the open. This stock is having a great day, although starting to sell a little bit. But for the most part, it's still having a great day, up about 42 cents to $14.34 on the day. Great day on that off of earnings. All right. Now, just a reminder here, guys. Tomorrow, or I should say today after the close, you have earnings being released from big players in the tech land. We're talking about eBay, which is not a huge one, but that's still a pretty big one. We're talking about other players like Intel and IBM. Intel and IBM are the big ones for tech. Those will be very, very significant. Let's just jump back to the SPY and see what's going on here. So you've now pierced the 50. Look at a little bit of surge in volume here. So still 2 minutes left in this candle. So you are seeing a little bit of an uptick, but now can we get below the white line? See how many levels there are on the way down? I mean, it's a great sell candle. I tip my cap to SPY hitting the lows of the day, double bottom here, and the white trend line and piercing the 50. But unless we get volume, there's just so many support lines along the way here that are going to trap this and push it back up. So we'll again watch it and see how it all plays out here. But nice little initial sell. Question is, can we get it to have more volume, or at least continue to push out the volume we're seeing here, which is a little bit of an increase. You can see this candle is actually above the last candle now, and we still have about a minute 20 seconds left in this 10-minute candle. All right, starting to bounce off this level a little bit. We need to see if that selling pressure continues. Chevron up 55 cents today, a little bit of a bounce back. That's starting to roll over. Had a little bit of a down day yesterday. This is a very interesting chart for me. The main reason why this is an important chart for me is because you have the beginnings of a head and shoulder pattern here. Take a look right here. So again, on Chevron, you have to be eyeing, if this chart rolls over, then you have a head and shoulder pattern formation. A break of this neckline would actually see Chevron going down to about the 105 to 107 level, which is kind of interesting for those of us that are looking at head and shoulder possible targets. Now, there's no head and shoulders here yet. You're not supposed to technically short it, although I am short Chevron overall just because I believe it's into key resistance up here. But if it does roll over and breaks the neckline, then it tells you it's going much, much lower as well. Exxon's trading up 23 cents, not much doing there. Amazon's up 20 cents, not much going on there as well. Apple's down 80 cents, flat day there. Google's down $1.60, nothing going on there. Baidu's having a continued little bounce up after yesterday, although it hasn't taken out yesterday's highs yet. So, I mean, it's a great move on Baidu over the last few days, even though it gapped up yesterday and pulled back a little bit. But the 107, this level right here, continues to be resistance right here. And that's actually where we're trading right now, which is at this gap fill. All right, if it continues up, then what you're going to see is a move up into these pivot tops right up here around 114. Should be an interesting area to watch. All right. So again, we're watching the SPY here, which seems to be holding steady here a little bit. It stopped its sell-off initially because of light volume. Now we'll see if we get another surge of selling to push it through. Although again, volume overall is still extremely light. Most stocks today are just hovering around the flat line. You did get some negative comments on Caterpillar from Jim Chanos today, and that stock is taking a little bit of a hit. But again, it's nothing major, down $1.68. Looks big on the chart, but it's really not that big of a move. Notice the big move up here, and now the pullback right on the day today. And this is the daily chart of Caterpillar. All right. Let's just jump back to the SPY, and let's see if we get any continued volume. We're into the next candle, so let's watch the next candle here, guys. You close, look at this, they bounced it right up and closed it right on that 50. So again, you're seeing the major levels at work here. 50 MA, white trend line, lows of the day, gap fill in 200. Just so many levels here. I'd love to see the selling continue, guys. I really would. But I have to face reality that unless we get more volume here, even more than last candle, there's no way they're getting this market all the way down to gap fill and through gap fill through the 200 MA. All right. All right, come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial. Again, 7-day free trial. Join the Research Center if you're an investor or a swing trader. And if you're a day trader, the intraday stock chat is for you. Swing traders get live analysis every single week. You get daily videos, market reports, and of course, swing trade alerts with entry, exit points, stops, and targets all included. And again, 80% success rate is what we aim to do or better. And we'll continue to do that for the rest of the year. Great trade yesterday in Tesla. That was a huge moneymaker for members. Huge moneymaker for members as we had shorted Tesla right here. You can see I day traded it this morning just for a little bit, made a couple $100 there. But we were short right up here at the exact high, and we took our profits yesterday before the bounce. So that was a great call on taking profits as well, as the stock has bounced back significantly today. All right, guys, take care again. Come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com.